The Brave Boy and the Dragon of Shadow Mountain. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled at the foot of Shadow Mountain, there lived a kind and curious boy named Leo. Leo was no ordinary boy. He was brave, clever, and always ready to help others. The villagers loved him for his cheerful smile and his willingness to lend a hand, whether it was carrying firewood for old Mrs. Maple or helping Farmer Joe mend his fences. But one day, something terrible happened. A loud, earth-shaking roar echoed from the top of Shadow Mountain, and a great shadow swept over the village. The villagers looked up in terror to see a massive dragon with shimmering black scales and eyes that glowed like molten gold. The dragon swooped down, breathing flames that turned the fields to ash and sent everyone running for cover. From that day on, the dragon terrorized the village. It demanded food, gold, and treasures, threatening to burn the village to the ground if its demands were not met. The villagers were frightened and didn't know what to do. They held a meeting in the town square, but no one could think of a way to defeat the dragon. Leo listened quietly as the villagers spoke. He felt a fire burning in his heart, a fire of courage and determination. He knew he had to do something to save his village. That night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Leo packed a small bag with a loaf of bread, a flask of water, and his father's old hunting knife. He kissed his sleeping mother on the forehead and set off toward Shadow Mountain. V9. Journey begins. The path up Shadow Mountain was steep and rocky, but Leo was determined. As he climbed, he thought about the stories his grandmother used to tell him about dragons. She had said that every dragon had a weakness, but no one in the village knew what this dragon's weakness might be. After hours of climbing, Leo reached a dark cave. The entrance was littered with bones and the air smelled of smoke. He knew this was the dragon's lair. Taking a deep breath, Leo stepped inside. The cave was vast and filled with glittering treasures, gold coins, sparkling jewels, and ancient artifacts. But Leo wasn't interested in the treasure. He crept deeper into the cave, his heart pounding in his chest. Suddenly, he heard a low growl. The dragon was awake. The dragon's golden eyes glowed in the darkness as it emerged from the shadows. Its scales shimmered like black diamonds and its massive wings stretched from wall to wall. Leo froze, but he didn't run. He stood tall and looked the dragon straight in the eyes. "Who dares enter my lair?" the dragon roared, its voice shaking the cave. "I am Leo," the boy said, his voice steady. "I've come to ask you to leave my village in peace." The dragon laughed, a deep rumbling sound that made the ground tremble. "And why should I listen to a mere child?" Leo thought quickly. "Because I can offer you something better than treasure," he said. "I can offer you friendship." The dragon tilted its head, intrigued. "Friendship? What use do I have for friendship?" "Friendship is more valuable than gold," Leo replied. "With a friend, you'll never be lonely. You'll have someone to talk to, someone to share your stories with." The dragon was silent for a moment, considering Leo's words. Then it shook its head. "No," it said. "I am a dragon. I do not need friends. I am strong, and I take what I want." Leo's heart sank, but he didn't give up. He remembered his grandmother's words. Every dragon has a weakness. He looked around the cave, searching for something, anything that might help him. Then he noticed something strange. In the corner of the cave, hidden behind a pile of treasure, was a small, glowing crystal. It pulsed with a soft, golden light. The dragon's weakness, Leo's eyes widened as he realized what the crystal was. It was the dragon's heart, the source of its power. If he could destroy the crystal, he could defeat the dragon. But how? The dragon noticed Leo looking at the crystal and let out a furious roar. "Stay away from that!" it bellowed, lunging toward him. Leo dodged just in time, grabbing the crystal and holding it tightly. The dragon's eyes filled with fear. "Please," it said, its voice trembling, "don't destroy it. Without it, I will die." Leo hesitated. He didn't want to kill the dragon, but he couldn't let it continue to terrorize his village. Then he had an idea. "I won't destroy it," Leo said, "but only if you promise to leave my village alone, forever." The dragon nodded eagerly. "I promise," it said. "I will never harm your village again." Leo believed the dragon. He placed the crystal back in its spot and stepped away. The dragon let out a sigh of relief and bowed its head. "Thank you," it said. "You are brave and wise, Leo. I will keep my promise." A new beginning, Leo returned to the village a hero. The villagers cheered and celebrated, throwing a grand feast in his honor. From that day on, the dragon kept its word. It no longer terrorized the village, and the people of Shadow Mountain lived in peace. As for Leo, he became known as the bravest boy in the land. But he never forgot the lesson he had learned, that even the fiercest creatures can change, and that kindness and courage can overcome even the greatest challenges. And so, the village thrived, and Leo's story was told for generations to come, a tale of bravery, friendship, and the power of a kind heart. The end.